finally, y'all know I just couldn't, at all the time I put in on that, I just couldn't just reveal it just like, here it is. I had to bring a little bit of something. This is the completed Ultimate Legends roster for NBA 2K15 for PS4 only. Sorry for Xbox One guys and girls. I'm just flipping through the rosters a little bit here just so you can see who everybody, kind of get a glimpse of it. You won't really get a good feel of it until you download it or whatever. I'm just kind of flipping through it. But I just, because some of you guys have been with me for this entire journey, so y'all kind of been living and dying with the episodes just like I have. So I really, really, truly appreciate everybody that watches all, 57 videos in this series. Appreciate everybody who's going to download it, everybody who's not going to download it, the whole nine. I just really appreciate it. I don't take none of that stuff for granted, because nobody watches videos, then you don't have a channel then, right? So I appreciate that. But some people have not been around this whole time, so they're just now, catching a vibe of what's happening here. So they're like, well, who is this guy making these rosters? So I'm gonna explain it, so y'all who've been around for a while don't trip too much. A lot of this you're gonna already know, but this is for the newcomers. So this took me some months to do, a lot of time. I mean, this is really the first part of my whole the initiative that I started for this year, because I wanted to be more consistent with my series. So I talked about consistency, quality, and community. So that's what I've been trying to get, and this series here is the first one really with me on that, with me on that whole thing. So the roster has over 150 created players. So I got a little trick that I know how to do that I learned from I can't remember where I learned it from, where you can actually get more than 150 creative player slots. I did that here. It's got all of the pertinent existing legends, so the people that were on those classic teams are already there. I migrated them into and put them on teams. There's quite a few active players with updated ages and skills and stuff like that. So people like Jason Richardson, who's an older player who I'm actually watching just miss a fadeaway jump shot against my Bulls right now. But yeah, people like him, Gerald Wallace, I updated their ages and skills, Rashard Lewis, that sort of thing. Now, my ideology in terms of putting people on certain teams, I got multiple versions of some guys anyway. I'm gonna get into that a little bit, but so I tried to put them on whatever team they were on when they had their best single season, unless I have, like I said, multiple versions of people and stuff like that. So that's that. So some of the players, the way I kind of determined whether or not somebody needed to be on more than one team is if the two different parts of their career was different enough, then I put them on multiple teams. Some of the people may have been on another team already, like from one of the classic teams, and I still may have made them as well. So it's kind of, that way. It's a little it doesn't have that much rhyme and reason for you to really truly figure it out, but know this, I think just about, you're never going to be able to get everybody. There's always going to be somebody I would listen to the comments, especially my man Master Assassin, I think is how you say his name. He's one of my consistent commenters. I appreciate your input throughout this whole thing, but at some point I had to cut it off and say, I can't keep adding people, because I would have never finished at that point. So I had to cut it off somewhere. So I know Sleepy Floyd didn't get in. He mentioned Larry Keenan. Who else was there? Purvis Short didn't get in. I'm only thinking of the ones he suggested right now, because I can't even think of anybody else's that I didn't put in. But I'm sure there were a couple. But pretty much everybody that was a major player at whatever era, just about, I pretty much got them, right? So the faces, I did the best that I could with the tool. There are some limitations, like you can't do headbands, goggles, some of the eyes and nose things you can't quite tweak the way you might want to. But like I said, I did the best that I could. the accessories, I used Google Images and pretty much Googled the year that I was trying to emulate and went from there. I even made some shoes, which in some instances kind of was wasting time from you guys' standpoint, because you can download the rosters, but you can't download the shoes. So that's that. Now the ratings, very important. Ratings and tendencies, actually, very important. They are based on the chosen year that I'm attempting to emulate. So the overall rating is not meant to be like a microcosm of the player's whole career. So when you see Kobe's rating, young Kobe's rating, or you see especially like somebody I had to create from scratch who wasn't on the game, like Barkley or Reggie Miller, their rating is not meant to be like this is who they were for their entire career. The rating is based off of whatever their stats were that particular season. Now, I created a scale where I basically based it off of this year's current rating. So if a guy's a 42% three-point shooter and he had a 92 three-point rating and he attempted somewhere between 350 to 400 threes, or maybe not that many, 200 to 250 threes or whatever, then with the legend that I'm trying to rate, if they had a 42% three-point shooting and around the same amount of three-point attempts, then I would have probably given them a 92 as well. And then I scaled it down or up accordingly based on those statistics. There's always some guessing there because you got some players that I put in there that played before the three-point shot. You got some players that played before block shots and steals were kept as a statistic. But in those situations, I went on scouting reports. I did some research. Then I also went on my own knowledge. I'm not trying to like brag or nothing, but basketball is my thing. I'm a sports writer for Bleacher Report, and basketball is one of my major focuses along with combat sports. So I know a little bit about basketball. And so I used that formula, which kind of I had to move in and out here and there over the course of the process because I wanted to make sure things was consistent. I think I did a pretty good job. Like I said, when I've been telling people, as long as I've been actually doing this roster, I've been testing the gameplay the whole time. And the game, it's fun, and it's not like crazy or anything. I mean, it's hard because you play against, like, no matter what team you play against, you got like a major deal. Now I got a challenge for people though. So if you don't mess with the rosters, right? Because I think a fantasy draft is a challenge in itself because there's so many good players. But say, for instance, you don't mess with the rosters. I got another challenge for you. Go through a whole season with the New Orleans Pelicans with this roster. If you win the championship with that team, with basically Anthony Davis and Jamal Mashburn and a bunch of guys, then you are really a beast. Because all of the rest of them really, the New Orleans good players like Baron Davis, I actually put Baron Davis on Golden State because his best season was actually with Golden State. And I didn't take Chris Paul off of there and I kept him with the Clippers. So it's going to be tough if you're going to win with the Pelicans. I'll just let you know that right now. Now, this roster can be used in my gym, my league, on quick games. You can do fantasy drafts like I was just talking about with it. And so you can feel free to do that. Now, if you download this roster and you enjoy it, shout me out on Twitter. The Twitter handle is @UniqueMazik. And then, put it at NBA2K, hashtag Ultimate Legends. If you want to put some images up or some videos, you dunking on some people with the legends, whatever, I appreciate it. But now, go get that roster. God bless. Peace.